Hi everyone, and welcome to our Algebra Tiles assignment. So in this assignment we're going to be evaluating simple expressions and we're going to be simplifying and combining like terms, and I'll explain what that means. I would like you to watch this video. It does a really good job of explaining this idea of evaluating expressions. And so evaluate, when we're talking about math, means to find the answer or find the number, okay? Simplify in math means to make into simpler form, and we usually do that by canceling common things, common factors, or grouping things together. And then finally, substitution means to replace one thing with another, okay? So please watch this video. You can pause my video, watch the other video, and then come back to me. So for example number 1 from the video, what you'll notice is that when they replaced the 2x with these 3's, right, then what we found was the answer was 9, okay? I just want to also show you the way we would represent this in math class, okay, through substitution. So here is our original expression. So an expression is just some terms or numbers, okay? And so what we would do is, if we were to say that x is 3, what we'll do is, instead of the x, we'll put in a set of brackets, but we will write down everything else that's around it, okay? Now, if x is equal to 3, okay, instead of this x, I'm going to write down 3 in here, okay? And then what this means is, when it's right side by side like this and beside brackets, or sometimes it's represented by a dot, what we do is, when it's side by side like this, we multiply. So 2 times 3 is equal to 6, and then we have plus 3, which is equal to 9. Okay, and so for example number 2, in the end, when they replaced the x with -2, after grouping the zeros together, so if there's 4 positives and 4 negatives, those two canceled out, we found out that the final answer was this right here, which was the expression was equal to -2 in the end. It's just a coincidence that these two things are equal, okay? But let me just show you how we would represent this just using algebra, okay? So if we have 3x plus 4 and x is equal to -2, we could use those brackets again. Wherever we have the x, we're going to pull out the x and we're going to substitute with the number -2. So if this is going to be x, and this x is -2, we're going to put this -2 in, okay? So 3 times -2, well, that's right here. It's represented by these 6 negative tiles. So we end up with -6, and then plus 4 is right over here. That's in the blue, okay? And then when we group them together, -6 plus 4, we read it from the left to the right. So if I owe $6, but I have $4 in my pocket, and I give that $4 to the other person, that means that in the end, I only owe $2 more, or -2. So I would like you to try these questions on your own, and you can just change the Google Slides right on the page on the Google Slide, because I've made a copy for you, okay? So you're going to copy and paste these x1 and -1 expressions or terms, and you're just going to copy and paste. Okay, so I'm just going to pull these over here. So we've got 4x, for example. I'm just going to show you what to do a little bit, okay? And then we've got plus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? But we know that each of these greens is worth a -2. So I'm going to put these on top of here, okay? No need to get rid of the x's, okay? So for example, like this, okay? So please go through with this and then figure out what the final answer is. But I would like you to also write, very similar to what I wrote over here, rewrite the expression with the substituted terms, and you can look at the algebra tiles as examples or inspiration. Okay, and then try out these next 2 questions as well. There's one with more terms, 3 terms. It's called a trinomial, and then another one that's another trinomial. Okay, so try out these ones on your own, and your teacher will mark those questions. Okay. Next up, let's watch this video that's related with adding and subtracting like terms. But before we do that, let's just go over some vocabulary words. So this right here is called a polynomial, and a polynomial is a math expression with many terms. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terms, and poly just means many, so it has many terms. Over here, a constant just is a number. In math, a constant is just a number that has just a fixed value. So -1 is a constant, and +3 is also a constant. A variable is usually a letter. A lot of times we use the letter X, and it can represent any value, like what we saw in our previous slides. Okay, so in this case, what we're doing is talking about like terms, and we can only add and subtract like terms. Okay, so like terms have the same variable, that means the same letter, but it also has to have the same exponent. Okay, so this little 2 right here makes this x squared, or x to the power of 2. It is not alike or not the same as this x right here, okay? And I like to use like an analogy or an example from families, okay? So in my family, my name is Francine Chung. My husband's name is Justin Chung. My son's name is Timothy Chung, and my other son's name is Peter Chung. So we're all named, last name is Chung, okay? So think of the Chung as the variable part right over here, okay? So this and this have the same last name, this 2x and this 4x have the same last name, but it has a different last name than this x squared. Maybe that is, last name Liu, okay, for example. So in order for terms to be alike or the same, like terms, we have to have the same last name. So 2x and 4x are part of like the same family. And sorry, I know that this doesn't apply for blended families, or if your last name isn't the same as your parents' last name or both of your parents' last name, and that's okay, right? I'm just using this as an example that you might be able to relate with, okay? So you'll notice that it doesn't matter what the coefficient is. So the coefficient is the number in front of the variable. So it doesn't matter what the first name is, that's like the coefficient. This 2x and this 4x are alike, and they're part of the same family, and we can add and subtract them, okay? We cannot add or subtract this 4x with this 2x squared, okay? And so what we're doing here is we're simplifying. In math, it means in this case right here, we're combining like terms to simplify the expression, okay? So please go back to the slide deck, watch this video. It does a really good job of explaining it using these algebra tiles, and then come back to me. Okay, so the video went through really quickly, but I just wanted to clarify a little bit if needed, okay? And so over here we got 2 x's, so we've got 2 x's, we've got -1, and we've got plus x squared, okay? And then this is the second part of this. This is 4x, 1, 2, 3, 4, x terms, -2, so that's why they're in red, 1, 2, and then +3, 1, 2, 3, okay? Then we're just gonna shift things around. We're gonna put these x's with these x's so that we have in total 6 of them, okay? Then we're gonna put these -1 with the +1 so that we can kind of simplify them right over here. And then lastly, we have all the squares, the x squares, with these 2 right over here, and then we're putting them right over here, okay? So after we've grouped them together, please realize that what we've done is that we've grouped together the like terms. So take a look at this, 2x plus 4x, they're grouped together. This has different first names, but the same last names, okay? These ones here are just constants. Sorry, let me just make this in red. These ones here are just constants. They're just numbers, but notice that you can add and subtract numbers, okay? And then lastly, in purple, we've got right over here, the x squares, okay? So same last name. This is the same thing as saying 1x squared and then -2x squared, okay? Then we're going to use the method where we zero things out in order to simplify, okay? So over here, when I just count this up, I'm just like, oh, 1, 2, there's x's, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is going to simplify to 6x, okay? And then next up over here, we have a -1 and a +1 pair. So these two things will zero or cancel each other out, okay? And then what am I left with? I'm left with positive 2. So negative 1 plus 3 is equal to positive 2, okay? And then lastly, I've got my x squares. So again, these two will cancel each other out because we've got a negative and a positive pair. That becomes 0. And then what I'm left with over here is just one of these negative x squares, or I can just simplify that as negative x squared. Okay, so the last thing I just want you to do is when we reorganize this, we always start with the numbers, the term with the highest exponent. So I'm going to actually start with the final answer will be negative x squared because it has the exponent of 2. Then next up, I'm going to say plus, because it's a positive, okay? So you have to say plus 6x, and then I'm going to finish off with the plus 2. So the constant is always at the end. So at the very end of this, this is my final answer, okay, in proper syntax or proper form for math with the highest exponent first. Again, for example number 2, the example went by really fast, but I just want to re-explain a little bit, okay? And so let's gather together the like terms right here, and this was the final answer, okay? So we're going to work towards that. But I have 2x squared, and I've got x squared, so I'm going to put down 2x squared plus x squared. I'll choose another color. I'm going to say 3x, and then over here I've got plus 2x. Okay, so 3x plus 2x, okay? And this is a common mistake that students make. They forget to put in the plus, okay? So each term has to be separated by either a plus or a negative in this case right over here, okay, when we're adding and subtracting, okay? And then finally, I'm going to use blue, let's just say, and I'm going to like do this. Okay, so this is a constant right over here and another constant right here, so it's plus 1 and then plus 3, okay? So the next line down, we're going to be grouping together the like terms. What we notice is that in the end, we've got 2 x's, 1, 2, and then we've got 1x right here. It makes 1, 2, 3, 3x squares. Okay, so this is different than the x's right over here. We cannot add these together. Okay, but over here I've got 3x, 1, 2, 3. I've got 2x right here, 1, 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3x plus 2x is equal to 5x. Okay, and then lastly we've got 1 plus 3, and that's going to be 4. Okay, so this is already in order. This is perfect, okay? But I just wanted to rewrite it using like terms. Okay, so please practice this question. You can copy and paste the x terms. Okay, so 4x squared, so you're going to have 4 of them, for example, okay? Over here, this is minus 2x squared, so you can group them together and count them out. Okay, sorry, there's not much space. But try these out and then check with your teacher. And please also do include the expression like right over here. Okay, you can type it out or write it out, okay? And then try out those questions. So after you feel comfortable with practice 1, practice 2 as well, okay? Combining, simplifying like terms, then you can try these out, and these ones are going to be marked. You can do them right on the Google slide, okay? Okay, everyone, good luck with this assignment. Take care and see you on the next video. Bye.